In this lesson, we're going to take a look at the Mental Ray Shadow Transparency Shader, and we'll see how this can be used to fix incorrect shadowing effects. Alright, so if you open up the start file for this lesson and render out the image, you'll see that we have this clear, transparent glass. But you'll notice that the shadow that falls on this surface from this glass is very, very dark. It's treating this object as though it's completely opaque. And this is a problem that results very commonly whenever you're using something like a dielectric type material, which is what we're using on the glass. So to fix this shadow, we can utilize a special node for the shadow transparency. So what we need to do is take the material for the glass and expose that, or expand it, so we can take a look inside the shading group node. So what we need to do is expand the Mental Ray section for this node, and we need to add a shader for the shadow. So this particular shader can be found underneath the shadow shaders, and it's really the only one there, the MIB Shadow Transparency. So all we need to do is take this Shadow Transparency node, middle click, drag it up into the shadow shader of this dielectric material. So now we can choose the color of the shadow as well as the overall transparency. So if we take a look at what we have now, save that for comparison, and render a new image, you might see that there is actually not a tremendous amount of change if you compare what we have now to what we had before. Actually, no change really at all. So let's start to come back and begin increasing the amount of transparency for this shadow. And now we can start to see some of the actual transparency that's beginning to take effect. So all we need to do is just increase this a little bit more. And now we can start getting a little bit more of that realistic, semi-transparent shadowing effect. Now we can even come back and go so far as to change the actual color of these shadows as well. So we click on the color chip, and let's say we wanted these shadows to be a little bit more red in color, but still slightly transparent. We do have that level of control as well. So this would be especially useful if we had some kind of a colored glass. So if our glass was a little bit red, and we needed our shadow to inherit a little bit of that red color as well, we do have that type of control, or that level of control. Alright, so that's a look at how we can use the MIB Shadow Transparency to correct some of the shadowing effects that we might receive from using these Mental Ray materials.